Hey, welcome back to another mystery envelope challenge. Today's mystery envelope comes from Katie, and she's saying it's time to refresh our stash of cards at the beginning of the year, and this month I'm challenging you to make cards with a love theme. They can be Valentine's, anniversary, engagement, bridal shower, or wedding cards. Anything to do with love. Look at how beautiful these papers are. This is the marbled Elegance. You can see that it's marbled with that gold foil. And then the reverse side is just solid without any of that gold foil. But I love this. I think it's unavailable right now on the website, but it is still on there. I believe it will be coming back. So these are all marbled Elegance. I am in love with all that gold foil. And then the roses on the back of that one. So we got a little bit of everything. And these look like 6x6 pieces. This is also part of that marbled Elegance, this gold twine. And this is part of marbled Elegance, those gold hearts. And then she threw in some cherry cobbler ribbon, and it has that gold trim. So pretty. I'm so excited to play with this. So let's go ahead and dive in. For the first card, I'm going to use a picture from the mini catalog. And this is on page 41, this butterfly card right here. I'm going to kind of mimic that. So I have my card base here, and then I cut my centerpiece down to 5 1/4 by 4. So that would leave just a little white border going around. But then if you noticed in the picture, they offset it. So then just lining those corners up to the edges, giving it a little more playfulness. And then I cut from my Spotlight on Nature dies a circle, and that's what I'm going to stamp on for the center. So instead of doing the butterfly, I'll do that. But they did use an embossing folder on here. So I am going to bring in an embossing folder, but I'm just going to emboss this white background and leave this white, or leave this pattern alone. But I do want to ink around the edges a little bit so that it's a little more defined. I'm using my Distress Tile 3D embossing folder, and to emboss just that half of that, I'm just going to run it through like so. So just that front is going to be embossed. I ran that through my embossing machine. I love that. And then you'll see it on the inside too. So my card closes. I love it. So then you won't see a whole lot of it on the outside, but just enough detail. And then we need to determine what ink we want to go around the edges. I'm thinking black or charcoal, just to give it a sharp line, and then I want to do some stamping on here too. Let's start with charcoal. I got all my pieces here. I used the Inspirational sketches, and I used this flower to stamp on here. I did ink around the edges, and then I used the Grateful for You to stamp on this banner, and this is just a piece of chipboard from my stash. And then I did ink around this pattern paper, and you saw the embossing. So now we just need to piece it all together. To finish off the card, I'll add a few of these hearts around. Let's just add. They blend in with the other spots, but I think that's all right. And then maybe do one. And we could even add a little bow. Yeah, let's add a little bow right here. This side frayed, so I'm just going to fray this side too so that they match. There, and we'll just add that right there. I'm going to use a little glue dot. All right, there is card number 1. And it's not very lovey, but grateful for you would work for anything. So you could do this as a thank you, or, you know, Valentine's, you could put in the inside then, Happy Valentine's Day. You can see that texture here, which I love. So I'm not going to stamp on the inside yet. I could do a thank you, or I could do Happy Valentine's Day. So I'm going to wait to stamp on the inside. I've already started putting card number 2 together. As you can see, I did that embossing folder again. And then I cut the paper, the pattern paper, at an angle. So you can measure that about, let's see here, 4.5, and then cut it at an angle. And then I just use some of that ribbon to go across. And I will put, and the angle doesn't really matter, that you cut that at, since you're putting the ribbon there to disguise it anyway. And then I'm thinking I'll put another circle here from the Spotlight on Nature, and using the Thoughtful Wishes, I used this die here and created these little flowers. And I did that in the pattern paper, so it was the back side of, from the first card, I used that pattern on the back, and I cut out the floral piece. And then the leaves, I didn't want to introduce green to my card, so I cut that out in a super light kind of grayish color. Okay, so that's gonna go there, and I'm thinking that'll go up here. And then I want to bring in some mink ink. It kind of matches this. This actually probably is mink. And I'm going to do some stamping on the circle. So I'm bringing in my elements of text, and I'll just bring in this large circle here and stamp that on the circle. It is a very large stamp too. It measures about 3.5, and really we're just inking the center because the circle's so much larger than this one. I don't need to worry too much about getting ink on the edges. And I'm okay with it not being perfect. So if the ink doesn't cover, I'm okay with it looking a little distressed. Check it out. I love that. And piece together these flowers, and then I'll get that adhered on right away so that I can trim it, since it's going to hang off that circle. So I'm just going to use my Bearly Art Glue and my reverse tweezers, and the leaf piece is the top layer. I'm going to use that same Grateful for You from the Inspirational sketches to stamp my sentiment. Yeah, I think I'm gonna use that instead of the banner, and I'll use that mink ink again. It's a little hard to get this lined up. There, Grateful for You. Okay, so I'm gonna put that Grateful for You down, and I'm thinking right about here. And it does kind of blend in a little bit, but I have these hearts that could go on either side, or I could tie some little bows to go on either side. I do like the super tiny bows, so I think I'm going to do a couple of those. I got those little bows on. That was a little tedious. They were super small. And now, just to finish it off, we'll add some more of those hearts. All right. So here's our 2 cards. Actually, on the inside of this one, let's go ahead and finish off this ribbon that Katie had sent. That I'm going to add with my glue dots too. So then on the inside, I added that ribbon and just another little heart. So then my thank you or Happy Valentine's Day will go up here with my signature, of course. And there we go, card number 2. If you've been around, you know my channel is mostly scrapbooking layouts, so I couldn't finish off this video without doing one scrapbook layout with this mystery envelope. And I love this paper so much I wanted to use more of it. So I cut a whole bunch of 1.5 inch squares out of the paper, and I am going to just kind of spread these around and break up the patterns. I don't want any of the patterns to be by each other. So let's go like that, and then I can fit one more. And then I was thinking of doing some more up here, and then I need to evenly space them. And I did ink around all of the edges. I got those 1.5 inch squares down. I have 2 pink photo placeholders, and I'm kind of thinking something like this. Just doing something kind of fun and have them at an angle. And then embellishing, I want to bring in my elements of text again, and I'm thinking this round one. And maybe having that poking out right here. I could also have some text up in this area, but I kind of think this would be a good background texture for embellishments. So I'm going to stamp that there before I adhere these down. I'm going to use that splatter stamp from the Thoughtful Wishes and some pink ink and just kind of add a few splatters here and there. I created 2 of these, like what I did on my card from the Thoughtful Wishes. And I'm putting one there. I'm thinking of putting one up here, but I'm not quite sure. But I think it needs something more too. So I'm not sure if I want to have a 3rd one down here. But I do kind of like the flowers, and I like how it's spreading across. So maybe I will put that one up there. And then, of course, I still have some of these hearts to help fill in. And I should put a title somewhere, too. I'm bringing in the mini alphabet dies for my title. And the nice thing about these is it cuts out all of the letters at once. Plus, it does multiples of the most common letters. So I run it through once, and you have your title for the most part. You might have to run it through a second time, but it's great. So I'm bringing in some black. I brought in black down here, You Make Life Better, and I want to bring in black for my title. I did charcoal around the squares, but you can't really tell if it's charcoal or black, and I thought black would be a little more bold and grounding since I have a bunch of bright colors, and then also the charcoal. And I just noticed that this one is vertical instead of horizontal, and the rest are horizontal. So I'm going to spin that square around. Okay, I have my title all laid out here. I just need to get it glued down. Let me know if you know this song. All right, so we'll go ahead and get that glued down at the base. And then I feel like I need some more hearts or something down here, which would kind of finish off the cluster since I have hearts up here, over here, so maybe I do need a couple down here. We'll see. I decided to add the Amen, if you know the song, you know. And then I added a couple more hearts down there too. So now it is ready for some Valentine's Day pictures. Under the You Make Life Better would be a great journaling spot. We have this layout for 2 4x6 photos and 2 cards. Be sure to head over to the Inspiration Collaboration playlist to see how everyone else used these products. Until next time, live a life worth scrapping. Bye, guys.